Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a really powerful situational leadership toolkit that's basically designed to drive organizational success. If you've ever felt like your leadership style just isn't clicking with a particular team or a specific project, well, this framework is exactly what you need to break through that friction. Because let's face it, we've all had those days where our tried and true leadership approach just lands completely flat. Let me kick things off by asking you something. Do you lead based on your own default personality? Or do you actively adjust your approach based on exactly what your team needs today? It's kind of a tough question to answer honestly, right? A lot of really well-meaning leaders fall into the trap of a one-size-fits-all approach. But as we're about to see, the absolute best leaders don't just lean on their favorite style, they adapt. They tune in to the immediate needs of their followers and the environment right in front of them. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with clearing the path to goals, then unpack the 4 behaviors toolkit, move on to reading the terrain, see the theory in action, and wrap it all up with some key takeaways. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Clearing the path to goals. This framework was actually cooked up by researcher Robert House back in 1971. I want you to think of a leader not as a boss shouting orders from an ivory tower, but metaphorically as an expedition guide out in the wild. If you look at House's original flowchart, your job is basically to swing a machete and clear the brush, removing the obstacles so your team can actually reach the destination. Notice how the leader behaviors on the left don't just point straight to the finish line. They filter through those specific contingencies in the middle. It's only when the right behavior meets the right environment that you finally arrive at high motivation and effectiveness on the right. Now, to really get this, we have to look under the hood at the engine driving this entire model. It's built on Victor Vroom's expectancy theory. Sounds a bit academic, I know, but it's incredibly practical for your day-to-day work. Expectancy theory states that motivation absolutely spikes when people believe that if they put in the effort, they'll perform well. And if they perform well, they'll get a reward they actually care about. As a path goal leader, your primary job is to clarify this exact cause and effect path for your team. You have to make the work winnable and the rewards crystal clear. Moving on to Section 2, the 4 behaviors toolkit. A great guide doesn't just bring one single tool on a massive expedition, right? So first step in our toolkit is directive leadership. This is where you clarify goals, provide specific step-by-step guidance, and closely monitor progress. You pull this one out when tasks are highly ambiguous, or maybe you have novices on your team who need structural guardrails to succeed. Think about how someone like Tim Cook operates when driving precise operational excellence at Apple, providing absolute clarity and structure when the path forward requires exacting standards and zero ambiguity. Now, contrast that with our second tool, supportive leadership. This style is all about showing empathy, fostering a friendly climate, and actively reducing stress. You deploy this when the work is incredibly tedious, stressful, or just psychologically demanding. Look, if your team is burning out or facing harsh conditions, they don't need a dictator with a checklist. They need a leader who cares, who listens, and who actively removes those workplace irritants. Tool number 3 is participative leadership. This is where you actively involve team members in decisions and heavily share information. You see this in leaders like Jack Ma during Alibaba's massive growth phases. It's heavy information sharing when team buy-in is absolutely crucial, or when your followers already possess strong expertise and really desire autonomy. In this mode, you aren't just giving orders, you're co-creating the strategy at a roundtable with the experts. And finally, we have achievement-oriented leadership. This means setting really challenging stretch goals and expressing absolute confidence that the team can hit them. It's designed to push highly capable, intrinsically motivated teams to stretch their limits and hit peak performance. It's that "I know you're the best at what you do, so let's aim even higher" approach. Just a quick warning though, make sure they actually are capable before you set impossible goals and accidentally break their motivation. All right, Section 3, reading the terrain and understanding those contingencies. Having the 4 tools is fantastic, but a master guide has to assess both the travelers and the terrain before swinging that machete. This is your ultimate leadership cheat sheet for those contingencies. Are tasks complex and ambiguous? You go directive. Dealing with high stress or tedious work? Go supportive. Does your team have expertise and want a voice? Go participative. Are they highly capable and ready for a real challenge? Go achievement-oriented. Notice how it takes all the guesswork out of leadership? You're actively diagnosing the environment and the follower's needs, and then applying the exact behavior required to clear their specific path. Let's see what this looks like in the real world. Section 4. Theory in action. Let's step out of the theoretical realm for a minute.
Our sources highlight a fantastic case study of a $500 million logistics technology company that was rolling out a new routing engine to hundreds of enterprise customers. They faced high friction, tons of delays, and completely plunging morale. But rather than just telling everyone to work harder, the leadership applied path goal theory chronologically. First, they diagnosed the friction across different teams. Then, they deployed tailored behaviors. For field ops struggling with new workflows, they used a directive playbook. For stressed out customer success teams dealing with angry clients, they offered supportive office hours. And critically, they actively removed bureaucratic obstacles, genuinely simplifying the required approvals just to get things done.
And the results? Absolutely staggering. By matching their leadership styles to the exact needs of those individual teams, they actually cut route planning time by 44%. They also increased on-time delivery by over 9 points in just 4 months. That right there is the dramatic business outcome of using path goal theory effectively. It's not just about making people feel warm and fuzzy. It is about systematically driving massive operational success by simply removing friction.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Key Takeaways.
Here is your practical checklist for tomorrow morning. First, always diagnose team needs before acting. Never assume your default style is going to work for everyone. Second, flex your behaviors to fit the specific task and the specific person. Third, get out your machete and actively clear obstacles and red tape. Seriously, sometimes the best leadership is just getting the bureaucracy out of your team's way. Fourth, ensure performance actually leads to credible rewards, which ties right back to expectancy theory. And finally, evolve your style as your team's competence grows. As a novice gets better, you have to consciously shift from directive to participative or achievement-oriented.
I really want to highlight this quote directly from our source material because it hits the nail on the head. Leaders are effective when they make it easier and more attractive for people to achieve valued goals. That brilliantly encapsulates the true facilitative nature of a path goal leader. Your job isn't to be the hero of the story. Your job is to make your team members the heroes by clearing the path in front of them and ensuring the reward is actually worth the journey.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. Think about a project your team is struggling with right this minute. Which leadership tool are you going to pull from your kit to clear the path for your team tomorrow? Are you going to provide firm direction, offer a supportive ear, invite their participation, or maybe set a bold stretch goal? The choice is yours. And now you have the structural framework to make the right one. Keep learning, keep adapting, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.